Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Possible in New Game Plus here in Dark Souls 2. And today we're going to take a quick look at my stats. If you want to see those for a little bit longer, just go ahead and pause the video. But other than that, we are going to tackle Heide's Tower of Flame as well as No Man's Wharf today. Now, just a quick word of apology, the videos have not been coming as frequently, and that is due to my real-life job. So I'm going to continue to put out as many videos as I possibly can for you guys. Please understand that I want to produce the content. I want to hang out with you here on YouTube and Google+. Unfortunately, my real-life job has become increasingly busy, almost doubling the number of hours I've had to put in. Hopefully that's going to die down soon, but I will put out the videos as often as I can. Now let's have some fun. So first and foremost, Skeptic Spice. One of the biggest changes here in New Game Plus is the fact that what was previously a Lloyd's Talisman is now a Skeptic Spice. So a much better item, a much more useful item, in my opinion. Now in this area, we're going to get our first examples of changes in the enemy layout and design that are not phantoms. For example, you can see the Great Hammer wielding Old Knight in the background. He is exclusive to New Game Plus and beyond. Now, some areas will have extra enemies, such as that Great Hammer wielding Old Knight. However, they follow the Phantom respawn guidelines. In other words, once you kill these extra enemies, and there are a couple in this area, they will not respawn 12 times like these Old Knights. Once they die once, and either you die or you rest at a bonfire, they are gone until the next new game cycle. Which you will find out is something that I was very thankful for when he gave me a lot more trouble than he should have. And here I am again, just kind of switching up the playstyle. For example, today I am using mostly the Dark Drift. Now I'm not actually being redundant in saying that. This is a Dark Drift that was infused with Dark, and now I'm also using Dark Weapon on it so I can get the extra damage. Just a quick note about the builds you're going to be seeing in this New Game Plus run. They aren't going to be the most efficient. They aren't going to be the most powerful. They might not even be very good. The only reason I am using the weapons that I'm using is because I like them. I think they look cool, I think they have fun movesets, and they're just enjoyable for me to use. If you want to see something else, I will gladly take suggestions. Please don't be offended if I don't use all of them, but I just want to have fun during New Game Plus. I want to explore it, I want to point out the differences with you, but most importantly, I just want to play with different weapons, because I'm really tired of just casting Lightning Spear over and over. Let's just take a quick step back and heal up. Oh wait, he would rather I didn't. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I still die in Dark Souls 2. I die a lot still in Dark Souls 2. Alright, well let's speed that up. Let's go ahead and take care of these Old Knights and move on so we can see some of the other changes here in New Game Plus. But looks like I have about 30 seconds before this speed up area is over, so let me just kind of talk about the channel. I like to keep you guys updated. So again, I will be putting out videos as often as I can. Hopefully over the weekend I'll be able to produce 2 or 3 that I can put out throughout the week instead of making you guys wait at least a week, which I know I look forward to videos from some of the YouTubers that I subscribe to, so hopefully I can get those out more regularly. We do have the first DLC coming out in just 10 days from the time of this recording, which I'm very excited about. And what I've decided to do, I'm going to record the entirety of my first playthrough. It'll be completely blind, and I will try to do some live commentary, maybe put in some post commentary after the fact if I've learned something. But I want to give all of you the chance to see my initial reactions to the DLC. Now, because I'm going to be doing it both blind and live, don't expect that video to be a work of art. Throwing that out there. Alright, the next change. We have this Ultra Greatsword wielding Old Knight. And then we have a Phantom down there. We'll talk about him in just a moment. Go ahead and pull these rings again so we aren't allowed to cheese the Dragon Rider. So here's the other extra Old Knight that you'll run into in this area. And again, once you've killed him, he will not respawn until the next new game cycle. I have to say, New Game Plus in Dark Souls 2 is immensely more enjoyable, in my opinion, than it was in Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls, because FromSoft actually took the time to make changes, to give you reasons other than replayability to go into New Game Plus. So kudos to the developer for that choice. Now, in Heide's Tower of Flame in New Game Plus and Beyond, there are 4 Phantoms, and this is the first one wielding a lance. This one in particular will drop a cracked red eye orb, but he also has a chance of dropping a token of spite. Now, that's very interesting to me, and we'll go into a little bit more detail in just a little bit. Tokens of spite are generally rewarded to invading phantoms who manage to kill the host. So if we're killing this phantom, and we're actually picking up a token of spite, which unfortunately doesn't drop for me this time, are we a phantom who's just invaded the world of another player, and now we're going to slaughter him because we need to get past him in order to get to the boss? And if so, in my mind, this would further blur the lines between good and evil when it comes to player versus player interactions. Because here we are not acting as an invader, yet we are presumably killing a host in his own world. And yet, in just a little while, we're going to be fighting some more phantoms that will actually drop tokens of fidelity, indicating that they have invaded the world of a blue apostle in order to kill the host. So we are both killing presumably innocent hosts and killing guilty invaders. So there's a real blurring of the lines there, and I would love to know what you guys think. Am I reading way too much into this? Let me know. I didn't actually think about it until I started looking at this video and thought, that's really kind of a cool implication if that was intentional, and even if not, I'm probably just going to pretend it is. In this chest, there is a difference here. So normally, in that chest, you would get 3 green blossoms. However, in New Game Plus and Beyond, you'll also get 3 humanities. Go ahead and summon our friend Masterless Glencore again. Now, this Dragon Rider fight is the same fight as it was in New Game, and it's the same fight as it was in New Game in Dranglake Castle when you just had to fight 2 of them. However, I do have some different strategy I'm going to employ, something I would highly recommend to all of you, especially if you're new to New Game Plus as I was. If you want to easily take down the Dragon Rider with no threat to yourself, follow these instructions carefully. Number 1, equip a very large, very heavy weapon. Step 2, get hit first thing. Very good. Next, begin fat rolling away. The slower you are rolling away, the better. Step 3, heal because you already took a hit. Step 4, get some attacks in when you can. Step 5, continue fat rolling. I can't even keep this up. I did not realize until I started rolling that by equipping this Curved Dragon Greatsword that I would be fat rolling. So, oops. Hopefully by now, anytime you hear me talking about strategy or pro strats, and I just put air quotes around those even though you can't see them, it means to completely ignore everything I've just said and possibly do as much as the opposite as you can. But regardless, Dragon Rider is now dead and we can continue on. Skipping forward a bit since nothing changes with Lycia, we are going to go ahead and take a look at our next change here, which is this next phantom. Now, as I said before, there are 4 phantoms in Heide's Tower of Flame. This is the first of a group of 3 that we'll encounter on our way to the Old Dragon Slayer, and all of these will drop tokens of fidelity. Now, we've talked about this before, and I'm sure you're all well aware. Tokens of fidelity are granted to blue sentinels who are summoned to the world of blue apostles who have been invaded by red phantoms. Once you've killed the red phantom, you earn yourself a token of fidelity. However, here we're actually going to get tokens of fidelities from these phantoms, again implying that perhaps these 3 phantoms that are on this side of Heide's Tower of Flame have actually invaded the world of the host that was outside of the fog gate for the Dragon Rider. Take all of this with a grain of salt, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. I really like to cut it close though with these phantoms, don't I? Really give them a fighting chance. Now, I will make a quick point here that with these phantoms, they will heal very readily. So if you give them any distance or any opportunity, they're going to heal. I didn't have to worry about that here because I didn't actually do any damage the first time that he came around. However, my point still stands. They can heal. So while I'm fighting this enemy, and we do have a little bit of time in between the next set, I do want to extend both a very warm welcome and a huge thank you to all of the Redditors out there who are now watching. Because of the Reddit post that I made about a week ago, the response was absolutely phenomenal. You guys were hugely supportive, and I gained a ton of subscribers and a lot of active viewers because of it. The comment sections have blown up, and I just love the community that's building. So thank you guys so much. I hope you stick around, and please let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, or insults, let me know. Drop them in the comments below. If you want to send me a direct message, that's completely fine too. And if you have any suggestions on what I should do next, or if you do have any other games you want to see me tackle, let me know. I will do my best to accommodate. Divine Blessing, same as new game. I was kind of hoping to be something different, kind of out of the way. And up here, we have Phantoms 3 and 4. As well as an extra old knight over there on the platform. Get to that in a moment. A note about most of the Phantoms in New Game Plus. There are quite a few of them. However, they have little to no poise. So even if you have a weapon that doesn't do all that much damage, but it's fast and it's light on stamina usage, you can go ahead and use that. Now I'm not sure if you can actually see the damage above his head, but if you heard that noise, kind of like a breaking sound, that was the engraved gauntlets proccing. So again, it has a rare chance of inflicting critical damage on a normal attack. And it's actually not as rare as you might think. Depending on where you're getting your information or what wiki you're reading at the time, you can find that the chances of that critical chance hitting is anywhere between 5 and 20%. I don't think it's as high as 20, but I also don't think it's as low as 5. I haven't seen any hard data. If you guys know of any tests that have been done, let me know. I'd love to check that out. Or if you have your own stories that you want to tell, maybe you have your own opinion, let me know. Now, knowing full well that I would be using katanas in New Game Plus, and also knowing that they have terrible durability and chip off of everything, I did come prepared. Told you. Yes, I could have just used repair powder, of which I have plenty, but I'm still going for the magic melee build now. So here's the third and final extra old knight. Hopefully I didn't say the second one was the final old knight. If I did, I redact that statement. But anyway, the great hammer wielding old knight on this platform, this is the third and final extra enemy in Heide's Tower of Flame. I'm sure you already know this by now, but with the sword and shield wielding knights, just circle strafe. If you keep the right distance and you keep the right momentum, you'll never have to roll. These guys, on the other hand, I don't have any suggestions. Just go nuts. I get hit all the time. So if you do, good. You just made me feel better. I'm really not sure what it is about these enemies that I find particularly difficult to dodge, but for some reason, I just take a lot of damage from them, and even die. A lot. Now the final item change that we'll see here in Heide's Tower of Flame is in this iron chest. Normally we would have the Ring of Binding and a human effigy, and this time we get the Ring of Binding again, but we get 5 human effigies. And that's the same. So you do get a lot more human effigies in New Game Plus and beyond. So if you're worried about human effigies later on, just get to New Game Plus and you should be fine. You know what, I say that, but now that I'm thinking about that statement, if you're having trouble in New Game because you're dying a lot and you need human effigies, you might not actually find it easier in New Game Plus. But anyway, back to my game. So we're going to go with the lightning infused mirror greatsword. We're not going to use gold pine resin because it doesn't work, and you should have known that beforehand, Blue. Come on. So for funsies, we're actually going to use Dark Weapon on our lightning infused mirror greatsword. That's right, we're going to give the old Dragon Slayer 3 opportunities to defend against our attacks. He can use his defenses against physical, his defenses against lightning, and his defenses against dark damage. Again, not the most efficient builds. One thing that I don't do in this fight that you're going to see me do in the next is I rarely use the block feature. I'm going to find that to be pretty useful in New Game Plus, I think. Yeah. Well, that was a terrible weapon combination anyway. So, let's try it again. And I'm not going to fight any enemies along the way, but you can take notice that the extra old knights are now gone, as well as the black phantoms. So we'll be a little bit smarter this time. Sunlight Blade to match the lightning damage already on the Mirror Greatsword. I think it's a better choice. I rarely see the old Dragon Slayer actually use his dark attacks, which will bring up just a very quick opinion of mine. There are a lot of theories out there about who this gentleman is before us. Is this Ornstein? Is this someone who just found his armor? Who is this? I think it's Ornstein. Or maybe I don't even want to say that I think it's Ornstein, but I want to believe it's Ornstein. And one of the common arguments against that theory is that you kill Ornstein in Dark Souls 1. And yes, you do kill Ornstein. However, in the Souls series, there are often ties to ideas of reincarnation and souls remaining even though the body no longer does. So if that's the case, why couldn't the souls, if they've remained, take the form as long as the body was actually not destroyed? Or why couldn't the souls actually inhabit the body if something like the darkness of the abyss was able to actually recreate the body itself, which that could actually lead to why Ornstein is now using dark attacks, because his body was either recreated or preserved due to the abyss. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Agree, disagree, think I'm off my rocker. That's fine with me. That's just what I've come to, and again, it's more so what I want to believe than what I've actually sat down and thought long and hard about. As you can see, this fight going much, much better, he said as he got hit. But I'm actually using the block feature of the Greatsword, which surprisingly has great defenses and stability. I was shocked. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine about Dark Souls 2 and how almost always I play as a lightweight, dex-based character who flips around, never uses a shield, never blocks. And how if I were to put on heavy armor and get a tower shield, maybe a greatsword or something even larger, I would do terribly. I truly don't understand the concept of tanking, of negating damage, of the ability to withstand enemy onslaughts while actually dealing damage in return. That's completely novel to me, so I think I'll have to run a character like that just so I can get a feel for that playstyle. Even this is a bit uncomfortable for me, not using weapons like katanas or daggers, something lightweight and fast. But I like it so far. It's actually working really well. And good night, sweet prince. Is that cheesy? Yeah. Yeah, that was cheesy. Well, there's nothing new from Blue Sentinel Targray or anything in the chest, nor is there anything in the transition between here and No Man's Wharf. So, here we are in No Man's Wharf. Not too many changes here, so this is going to be a much shorter section of video, but I do want to highlight some of the key differences. For example, right at the beginning of the level with the hut on the left, when you go to the top, and inside this wooden chest, instead of the Titanite shard that we got before, we actually now get a Titanite chunk. Now, still in the very early stages of the level, once you're past that Dark Dweller. In this house here, normally we would have 10 iron arrows, and this time we have 30. Moving right along, killing a few more Dark Dwellers. On this landing, instead of the 10 fire arrows, we get 30 fire arrows. Now we are getting closer to the end of the level. And through this hidden door, remember to use the activate option instead of breaking the wall. We have some fire bombs, which is nothing new, but in the iron chest, in New Game you get a single large Titanite shard, and in New Game Plus and Beyond you get 3. Now as far as items go, that's actually it. So here we are on the ship, and immediately we are confronted with a phantom. Now if you're looking for the visible Oris armor set, this is the only enemy in the game that you can actually obtain those items from. You can only get one piece at a time, and it's not a guaranteed drop. So if you're looking to farm, again, for the visible, not the invisible, but the visible Oris set, you will potentially have to fight this phantom a lot to get all the pieces. Unlike the Mad Warrior and Belfry Soul, he will drop duplicates. So I would go ahead and farm a lot of Bonfire Ascetics if you're looking to actually get all the pieces. Here we are at the boss gate. We brought our good friend Lucatiel because there is a surprise waiting for us in here. The first change to a boss design, I think something that really adds a lot to the mechanic. Granted, the ads don't last very long. Once you enter the boss arena, 2 suspicious shadow enemies are going to drop in. Now they don't have a large amount of health, so you can take care of them pretty quickly. However, these enemies can drop their entire armor set, which is the shadow set, as well as they can drop the malformed claws or the shadow dagger, both of which are really cool weapons. Now if you want to farm them, here's what you have to keep in mind. They will continue to respawn as long as the Flexile Sentry remains alive. So if you want to farm it, here's what you do. Enter the arena, and in my opinion, preferably using Lucatiel to tank, and you want to kill the suspicious shadows very quickly. Once you've killed them, pick up any items they may have dropped, and then you can either quit your game, which will actually put you just outside of the fog gate, or if you don't want to use that method, you can use the H feather to warp back to the bonfire at the beginning of the level. You'll just have to run back. You can rinse and repeat this as many times as you want until you get the items that you're looking for. Once you've gotten everything, then kill the Flexile Sentry. They will no longer respawn. And that is everything different in New Game Plus, both in Heide's Tower of Flame and No Man's Wharf. And that will actually wrap up today's episode of Everything Possible in New Game Plus. If you guys learned something, please leave me a comment below and let me know what you learned. If I missed something, let me know that too, and I will catch you guys next time.